Hello everybody and welcome. Happy Thanksgiving. Today we're going to talk about some plans and projects for stuff that we can still get done in the fall before the real deep cold sets in. Kind of recap, we got our birds in the new run, and I just threw them some snackies so they're chowing down. We got our new chicken coop up, and we got the door, the light sensor set so all the birds are making it in at night without the door closing in front of them. A couple other things we did, we were actually lucky enough to sell 14 more of our sugar maple trees on Facebook, which was really awesome. A couple had actually come from Ohio to buy these trees, and we're super happy about them. So we're glad that we could hook them up with that. They're 25 bucks a tree, I think. Another project we had gotten done was this wood holder. So we got another load of wood from our friend, and we built a kind of ragtag structure that we can hold it all up, and we put a nice thick cover over it so that the rain can kind of stay off of it and weight it down with some other logs. We also wanted to look at how our trees and our garden beds were going, and we're trying to think of when we should start cutting back some of these. I guess the main focus for this area is we have a number of these raised garden beds, or whatever you want to call them, and we had some tomato plants in here, and we also had some lamb's quarters, if you want to call them, goose feet or lamb's feet, whatever, but they're all dried up and most of the seeds have come off, and we kind of been throwing them around. I don't even know how much of seed is actually left in that. But we're also looking at where these weeds had come up and where we've had a maple tree turn into a maple bush. So we got to make some decisions on, do we just cover this whole area with straw for the winter and let it kind of give it some sort of insulation for the winter, because we have some kales over here as well, and it'd be nice to add to the wood chips that we had used previously and just kind of put a nice thin layer of straw over that to help insulate it for the winter. All of this is plantain, so even though it is, I guess, a weed, it wasn't like we didn't plant it there, but we kind of wanted that to come back next year. So in the spring we might just cut it back and have it grow back from the roots. Probably be the plan for that. This asparagus we will cut down to ground level in about 2 more weeks, probably mid-December, because we want all the energy to go back into the crown, and then we want to actually cut those back because these asparagus are pretty prone to getting pests inside of them, and if they get in there, these little beetles or whatever, they'll actually kill the plant. So that's one of the only actual plants that we cut back. Now looking toward the spring, we're actually going to have to prune back some of these beautiful pear trees that we have, and we're probably actually going to cut it all the way down to here. So we have one major branch that comes up. We might snip it back to maybe right here. So all that's going to be left at the end of January, maybe middle February, we're going to cut it there, and they'll cut it there, and that's all that will be left. So we'll hope that this can grow into a main branch, and that one right behind it can grow into a main branch, and maybe one of these other spurs will end up exploding in the spring, because if we leave it like this is going to be like a 25 foot tree, and we won't be able to reach any of the fruit because it's going to be way up there. It's going to be as tall as this alder over here. Another thing, when it comes to trees, I'm really worried about protecting the trunks of the trees, and I'm not sure if this tree is old enough that rabbits and things won't, bite it and girdle it in the winter. We did watch a video by Canadian Permaculture Legacy, and he has a great video he just came out with that kind of describes in better detail the thickness of the trees that you need to be worried about and some other materials that you can use to protect them. This is also a perfect time. This video is meant to kind of list and catalog things that a person or we have been doing into the summer, heading toward winter. And one of the big things is actually planting bulbs. We have another batch of bulbs and seeds that we want to throw around and dig down and plant and all that. One of my favorite is actually just grabbing those 5 or 10 pound bags of clover seeds and just throwing them willy-nilly throughout everywhere. I don't want like that plant to take over my entire ecosystem or anything, but it's a great kind of a gap filler where other grasses aren't making it. Maybe have some bare spots from some of the tall grasses that I have throughout my garden, or my forest garden, whatever you want to call it. But also the bulbs, which we're going to plant, and I'll show you what we're doing with those. is to add some more color, some more diversity, and more food for other pollinators. As I stare into the sun, let me go grab some bulbs and some seeds. I'll show you what we're planting today. Before that, of course, let me stop off and talk about one of the plants that we're not sure. I think we're going to do an A-B comparison. So this is an autumn olive, and you can see it's put on basically all of this growth. I think like this main stem was half its thickness. There was like one twig coming off of it in the spring, and it's exploded, put on new shoots that have come up all over the place. So I think like maybe this one we're gonna trim back. We're gonna head it back pretty hard to see if we can get it to bush out more. But we have a total of 4, so we're thinking we'll do 2 in a bush style, and then 2 we'll just leave alone because we want to see how it reacts. Like, is it better to force it into a bush, or is it better just to let it grow wild for 2 or 3 years, cut it down to the ground and let it regrow? Because we plan on eating the berries, but it's more as a nitrogen fixture to add more nitrogen to this area. We have apples and jujube and peach and pear planted around here, so this is what we plan on planting today. We have a bunch of these different mixes that call for planting in the fall versus the spring. That way they get cold stratified. And we have a whole bunch of different crocus, tulips, and we got our trusty hand shovel because that's all you need to plant anything in a food forest. And we got a little scraper, which we'll probably just scrape and then sprinkle these seeds and the clover seeds in. So to give an idea of what we're doing here, we just scraped some of the dirt and brought it over here, and then we just sprinkled one of those spring packets. And then on the left, we dug a deeper hole and put a Thalia daffodil. The idea is to expand on these 2 holes, maybe do 6 holes in one area, and we'll have 4 or 5 different spots around the garden. We'll show you what that looks like as we expand our planting here. So if you can make out the holes, here's 1, 2, here's 3, see that 4th one there, 5, 6. If it looks like there's other holes, it's because I accidentally scraped a whole bunch and planted other seeds everywhere, but these are where the bulbs are. So we got this whole area planted. You can see if you follow that line here all the way, there's a pathway. So we got this whole area planted out with bulbs and clover seeds. And give you an idea of what those clover seeds look like. They'll be able to sink down with the next rain. Maybe some birds will eat some. That's why we mix how we apply. Some get dug in, some get mixed in when we plant the bulbs, but some of them kind of just get thrown everywhere in handfuls. So we're really glad to have gotten that all done, and that might actually be the end of the planting for the year, which is kind of a sad thing, but we're glad we got all that done. Coming along with us is actually the next morning. I get a little bit dark last night when we were planting those bulbs. The chickens are up, so I'm gonna just say thank you for watching. I hope everybody's doing well in their fall and getting their last task done. But we gotta feed these chickens some snackies. So thank you for watching. Bye bye. Lucy birds, Lucy birds. Lucy birds. Oh, there's the Lucy birds. Hi, Lucy's. You want some snackies? Want some snackies? Yeah? Okay, good. Woof. Will they come out just like that? Good morning. Hi, little birdies. Hi, little birdies. How are you? Snack time. Snack time. There's a 5th one. Okay, sorry it's so windy out, but have your snacks and go back in, okay? Okay. Bye-bye now.